Good morning. There are a few things that you will need to do before you begin today. The first is to set up your Cornell Notes page. You should put your name, the date, and the block at the top, and then your topic for today is toy safety. Your essential question: what do caregivers need to know about toys in order to keep their child safe? Please make sure you have all of those things written on your paper before you begin. One of the first things that you should do when picking out a toy is to always look for the safety label. Some fabric toys should be flame resistant, meaning they won't catch on fire as easily as other toys. Electric toys, things that have a cord or a battery, they should be UL approved, meaning that if they're left outside or if they get wet for whatever reason, they're probably not going to electrocute your child. Stuffed toys and dolls should be washable in case they get dirt on them. My kids have thrown up on their toys. You just want to be able to put it in the washing machine or get it wet so that it will become clean. And then toys with paint on them should be non-toxic paint. It was a big issue, way back in the day that toys would be painted with lead paint and then kids put them in their mouths and got lead poisoning. So we definitely don't want that for our children. The next thing you want to look at is the fine print. On a lot of children's toys, there's a tiny little bit of writing. It could be on the battery cover, it could be on the label, but it's definitely something that you need to take into consideration. Sometimes it will say safe for use under adult supervision, meaning that you really should be around when your child is playing with that toy. It might say caution, contains small parts. Obviously, that toy would not be appropriate for an infant or certain toddlers. I know that my 1-year-old, yes, she is a toddler, but she cannot do small parts. She will definitely choke on them. Like dog food, she likes to eat that. That would be a small part. No. The next thing you want to look at is for age recommendations. Not every toy is going to be developmentally appropriate for every age. It's kind of like when toys say, or when clothes say one size fits all, but you know one size does not fit all. So the age recommendations are not always accurate. They say it might be appropriate for a 5-year-old, but really it would be okay for a 3-year-old or a 2-year-old. Certain puzzles are that way. There might be Lego pieces and it says it's appropriate for a 3-year-old, but really the pieces are so small, it's better for a 7-year-old. So that's really up to your judgment. There's not always a guarantee for safety. You should be watching your kids play. If you think the toy looks questionable or the age recommendation is questionable, make sure that you're just hanging out with your kid and checking up on them as they're playing with that certain toy. Yeah, slingshot's not appropriate for little toddlers. Jack in the Box, yes, definitely appropriate. It might have some small parts, but hopefully they won't be able to get them off. Here are some certain things you want to avoid for kids that are under 3. So both of my kids should avoid this. Eyes, beads, and squeakers. If you're giving your child a doll, make sure that the eyes are like fabric eyes or that they're sewn on. You don't want something coming off that they're going to put in their mouth and choke on. Same with beads. They shouldn't be making their own bracelet yet. And then squeakers, I don't really get the squeakers one, but it's definitely a recommendation that has been given. And batteries. Don't let your kids chew on batteries. If they can get the remote cover off your remote, make sure that your batteries are taped in there or you have some sort of a backup plan. Use a small object tester. You want to test things. In the picture, there's a little small object tester. If it can fit in there, it's probably too small for your kid under 3. Under age 7, here are some other things to avoid. Toys with motors and heating elements. Easy bake ovens used to be really big, and I think maybe for some kids they still are, but that has a heating element. I think it's just a light bulb. But if you stick your hand in there, you might burn your hand. Also, toys with motors, you want to avoid those things as well. Other things for kids under 7 that you want to watch out for are shooting games with projectiles and loud noises. I know that Nerf guns are really fun, but you really should be using some protective eyewear. Obviously, if your kid just wears glasses on a regular basis, they're probably okay. But you don't want to take the risk of somebody getting their eyeball shot at or being blinded for the rest of your life. I used to babysit for these kids, and they had eyewear. And on Christmas, when they gave them the Nerf guns, they gave them some protective eyewear that they had to wear when they were playing with the Nerf guns. Otherwise, they didn't get to play with them. So I thought that was a really good idea. Other things, unbalanced riding toys. There's those scooters, and then there's those, like, they kind of look like skateboards, but they're wavy and stuff. 7-year-olds don't really have that great a balance yet, so always watch out for that. Maybe put a helmet on them or something like that. There's this thing called the Consumer Product Safety Commission, and they are in charge of making sure that everything on the market is safe. They do recalls for, like, those McDonald's toys. They do recalls for other things as well, but this is really the group that is in charge of making sure that everything out there that you can buy at a store for children is safe. So when McDonald's was selling those activity bands and the kids had allergic reactions to the material in the plastic, these are the people that asked McDonald's to recall those and give them a different toy. And this is their website, www.cpsc.gov. And if you go to that website, you can see just about any toy that has ever been recalled. You can go on there and check for car seats. You can go on there and check for even some of the things that you guys might like, headphones, just phones, just anything in general. They're really in charge of keeping safe. So this brings us to your toy safety research project. So it says children learn through play. Play helps children interact with adults and other children, so that cooperative play aspect. Play also helps babies develop motor skills, so fine motor skills, gross motor skills, using all of those different types of muscles in their body. Your job is to research 2 toys. Use the questions below to guide you through your research. In the end, you will present your research to the class using a Prezi or PowerPoint. So there are 3 different components to this. Number 1, you're going to be making a PowerPoint, and you might want to start that anytime after this video is done. And these questions here can just be the titles of your slides. That's totally fine with me. Then the other 2 components are the 2 toys that you're going to research. So you can do this on the website from the previous slide. You're welcome to do that. Otherwise, you can just go to Google and type in a toy and see if there's recalls or safety issues. So you're going to go through the name or description of the toy. What is it called? What does it look like maybe? Where can you get it? Can you get it at Target? Do you have to go to Toys R Us? Is it an Amazon thing? Where can you buy the toy? Which age range is your toy applicable for? So are we talking 0 to 6 months? 6 to 12 months? Are we talking a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old? Sometimes it will say on the label, but it's up to your judgment. What motor skills is this toy helping your baby to develop? Remember, we're talking about toddlers. Is it a fine motor skill where they're using their pincer grasp to pick something up? Is it a large motor skill where they're playing with a basketball and shooting it into a hoop? I don't know. And then which strategies does your toy sync up with on page 248? That's in your book. There's different strategies in there. You might want to look at that. And then what safety concerns do caregivers need to be aware of when playing with this toy? Are there small pieces? Is there a heating element? Those are all things to consider. Do they need a helmet? So think about that. I'm really looking forward to looking at your PowerPoints, and I'm really looking forward to hearing your presentations. You don't have to present in front of the class. If you want to make a video like this, I am more than happy to help you do that. Just let me know. And then when you're done with whatever your project is, you're going to email it to me, julia.emley@dmschools.org. So that's the plan. Get to it. I want to look at your notes at some point today. Thanks. Bye.